You are listening to the E2C Network, where the Auburn family speaks.
War Eagle Auburn fans, and welcome to Tiger Tracks, your source for Auburn track and field news and discussion. I'm your host, Jessica Loomis, and I'm here with my husband, Kyle, to discuss some exciting track and field stuff.
Well, you're just excited because we're finally moving on to indoor track and field season.
Outdoor track.
Excuse me, outdoor track. We were in indoor, but now we're going to outdoor because it's nice outside.
The far superior of all of the track and fields.
I don't know that the indoor track and field athletes, which are basically the same ones, but I digress, feel that same way. Maybe some of them prefer the indoor events.
To be fair, we all have our preferences. Some of us are Auburn fans, some of us are Tennessee fans, some of us like pizza, some of us don't. I prefer outdoor season.
You are very much an indoor person, so I thought that you would like indoor more.
So just because I live indoors doesn't mean I want to do track and field indoors.
You mean you don't live outdoors in our backyard?
I don't. In a tent. No.
No, you are not the camping type.
Absolutely not. I am not strong enough for that.
Yeah, well, we do need to talk about how the indoor season finished. We did not get a chance to do that right after.
Yep. So this is a dual episode. We are going to talk about the 3 athletes that made it to the indoor NCAA championships. Mm-hmm. And then we are going to kick off outdoor season with the results of the Tiger Classic outdoor meet as well.
Yeah, excited because there were some good things that happened at indoor championships that I'm excited to talk about, some good events.
Well, speaking of, why don't you go ahead and start us off with Alex Spirodonidus. We had, like I said, 3 athletes that competed at the indoor NCAA championship meet. Took place March 11th and 12th at the Birmingham Crossplex, which obviously was in Alabama.
Yes. So we'll start off with Alex. As she said, he competed in the men's heptathlon. He got a PR in the 60 meter with a time of 7.03 seconds. And by the way, I'll go ahead and give you the events that he ran in as a whole. You've got a PR in the 60 meter, a shot put, high jump, long jump, hurdles, 60 meter hurdles to be specific, pole vault, and 1,000 meters. So now we'll run through the rest of those. PR in the shot put with a throw of 14.24 meters. A PR in the high jump of 2 meters total. A long jump of 7.12 meters. A PR in the 60 meter hurdles with a time of 8.09 seconds. Pole vault with 4.86 meters. And his 1,000 meter time was 2 minutes, 47.28 seconds. That's an overall score of 5,881 points. I wish I could score that much points in any sport with a PR overall and placed 6th overall in the nation.
So when you think about this, so he got 4 PRs in the events and then a 5th PR, meaning that his point total was a PR.
Yeah.
5 PRs.
Competing at your very best when it matters most in the championship level. And put it in perspective, 6th out of every heptathlete
in the nation. That's a good way to put it.
Collegiate wise, obviously, we're not talking about professional, but this is still a huge accomplishment for Alex. Really proud of him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So 2 other competitors were Maddie Malone and Dontavious Hill. So Maddie competed in the women's weight throw. No shock to any of us. We have been here quite a few times. I love it so much. Maddie placed 8th overall with a throw of 22.63 meters, which this throw marks the 6th best in Auburn history. Can you guess who hold the other 5 best marks?
Her initials might be MN.
Yep. Maddie Malone holds the top 6 best throws for women's weight throw in Auburn history, so that's just kind of amazing. Also, her top 8 finish earned her the USTFCCCA All-American for the 4th time in her indoor career.
I know I say this every time this is brought up.
I know.
That acronym. My gosh, just really, that's too much. It's too much.
Okay, let's see if we can do it again.
United States Track and Field Collegiate
Cross
Country Collegiate Association.
Something. Yes. Somewhere we were correct, even though Kyle doesn't say collegiate correctly.
Collegiate.
There you go.
Collegiate.
No. You had a K in there, and I didn't realize that was possible. But anyway, really, really big congratulations to Maddie.
It's weird to think that Maddie owns that many records, and this was her, not the best one out of the ones she's done.
I know.
That's just crazy to think about that she's been that dominant for throwing for women Auburn history in the time she's been here.
And during the pandemic.
Absolutely. Dontavious Hill. Big surprise for me. Not that we have not seen Dontavious doing big things this year and his entire career at Auburn, but he just comes out in a tear on the national stage and competed in the high jump, placed 3rd on the podium, brings the bronze medal home for Auburn in the men's high jump with a jump of 2.2 meters. He earned first team All-America honors. This for me, I'm sorry, Maddie. I'm sorry, Alex. This is the highlight for me.
You love the podium.
Well, it's just really nice to see a guy, especially that we've been talking about forever, since we've been doing this podcast together, talk about how he's kind of, he's won a few of his own at certain events, but he's always kind of been there in the upper part of the pack, but never really crested a lot. And so now he's on the podium on the grand stage of it all in indoor season. Dontavious Hill, so proud of you.
Hey, Kyle, I got news for you.
Oh, what's the news? I'm scared.
We're starting off with outdoor track. Outdoor, like I said, it was the Tiger Classic, March 18th and 19th, just a week after NCAA for indoors. Took place in Auburn.
It's nice. Nice to be in Auburn.
It is. So Dontavious Hill, who we just talked about.
Yes.
He cleared a career best. He jumped higher in outdoor because outdoor is the best and jumped 2.22 meters in high jump for a first place finish and currently the nation's top mark in high jump.
At the time. Do you think, I know a couple of days have passed since this actually happened when we're recording this, do you think it's been passed by now?
Not yet. There haven't been any other meets.
Well, there you go. So right now he is the best high jumper in the entire land at the collegiate level.
Good job. But how amazing. So like the week before he gets a bronze medal, go to outdoor. Let's see how I do at this meet. I'm just going to get a PR. No big.
No big whatsoever. It's funny how things can just keep progressing even into the outdoor. I mean, obviously, it's the only difference is you don't have a roof over your head and you've
right.
I was the elements.
Say, the actual jump itself does not change.
Right.
It's just now there's sun and wind and things.
But you almost wonder there's this burst of energy that you get from being outside.
Exactly. The seasonal depression has lifted. There is pollen in the air. Let's do this.
That's a great way to kickstart off the outdoor season. To me, the biggest thing for outdoor season that I love is that we now get a chance to compete at home because we don't have an indoor facility.
Right.
We have one time, I think, seen a cross country meet happen in Auburn at a golf course.
Yep. Which is the best cross-country courses.
So you and I literally spend the entire fall and winter talking about Auburn going places, and now we get to talk about them being here.
And now they get to just stay home and sleep in their own beds.
And if you've never been to Hutzel Rosen Track, you need to and go to an event. It's really fun.
It is fun. So our next highlight to talk about, we will talk about all of the events as well, but just want to highlight a couple of things. For the men's hammer throw, Eric Ebel got a PR of 68.74 meters and a first place finish. Kyle Brown also got a PR with a throw of 67.13, placed second. Kyle Moyson got a PR, 64.88, and finished third. So 3 PRs, top 3, in the hammer throw, just, again, killing it.
My boys just decided, hey, listen, nobody's having this podium at this event. It's ours.
I'm not mad at it. And to be fair, there were a lot of PRs at this meet. Couldn't go through all of them. We just picked the highlights.
No, when we pick, I hope people will pick up on that by now. When we pick highlights, and I should say when Jessica picks highlights, she's the one that prepares the notes. Let me give her credit. That we try to get the highest of the highs because there's too much sometimes.
There's so much good. Like in this meet, if I had told you every PR, it almost would be every athlete. There are a lot of PRs this meet. But just like Kyle said, highest of the highs.
The high, literally the highlights. Last high of the highlights, Brandon Smiley, Giovanni Murray, and Devontae Brown finished one.
Dontae Brown.
Dontae, excuse me. Just rolled off the tongue there with the alliteration and stuff. First, second, and third in the men's 200 meter. They said that they are just going to sweep the podium there as well.
Yeah, again, so men's hammer throw and 200 meter for the men just swept it.
To tell you, the men are picking it up this year, and I love it.
Absolutely. So we're going to actually start with all of the results with the women's 100 meter. So we had Alia Francis place second out of 20 competitors with a time of 11.5, which is a PR for her. And then Hope Igbenogany, glad to see her back, placing 18th in 12.67 seconds.
2 things that I want to talk about here. First of all, good to see Hope again. Her brother, obviously, Noah Igbenogany, was a former football player, now killing it in the NFL. So good to see the family still is strongly tied to Auburn here on track and field. But I want to give a shout out to Alia Francis. I had the pleasure of meeting her and her mother this fall when I was on campus, just kind of walking around getting some pictures and stuff, and had a really cool conversation. So I told you guys I'd give you a shout out when we got to you, and here you are. So glad to be talking about you now in outdoor season.
So moving on to the women's 100-meter hurdles, we had Elise Heddens placing 6th out of 7 athletes with a time of 15.02 seconds.
The women's 200-meter will start off with Alia Francis, who finished 2nd out of 22 competitors with a time of 23.43 seconds, followed up with Elise Heddens, finished 15th overall with a time of 26.57 seconds. The women's 400-meter, Jennifer Dietrich, 11th out of 19 competitors, with a time of 58.49 seconds, followed by Brittany Campbell in 13th, time of 58.89 seconds, right behind her.
Moving on to women's 400-meter hurdles, and this just always baffles me. So look at Jennifer and Brittany, running it in about 58 seconds. Tyler Colbert placed 3rd out of 9 competitors in the 400-meter hurdles in 60.15 seconds.
Yeah.
Not even 2 seconds behind them, and she's literally launching herself over hurdles. That girl is a beast.
And what you're pointing out here is for especially Tyler, the differential between her and then the people and I don't mean just as in it's not hard to do that, the 400 meter without the hurdles. That's crazy. Just there's only a 2 second really differential.
Right.
If that between
them.
And
Jen and Brittany are going all out. And so is Tyler. It amazes me what these athletes' bodies can do, that you can run that fast and still launch yourself over a hurdle and not trip and not die, because that's what I would do.
Yeah, trust me, I've seen it happen several times.
Honestly,
it's a miracle you're here today.
To be fair, when we used to do hurdle practice in track and field, my coach never made me do it because I almost killed myself all the time. Literally, we did it one time. She was like, Jessica, you sit this one out.
Oh my goodness. Not shocked whatsoever. Hey Auburn fans, I want to take a quick timeout from this episode to bring your attention to something very special. Here at the E2C Network, we pride ourselves on bringing you the best content for Auburn fans out there. And best of all, it's free to you. But just because it's free doesn't mean there aren't costs, especially when you have a library of hundreds of podcasts, videos, blogs, and more. Many of you have reached out and asked how you can support this network in the past. Well, now I have your answer. It's called the E2C Network Booster Club over at patreon.com/E2C Network. There you'll find a membership monthly reward system where you can sign up for as little as $1 and get different perks at different tiers. Some of those perks include things such as apparel, eligibility to join us on future podcasts, recognition as an E2C Network booster, exclusive communications, and bonus content that is available nowhere else. If you love this network and want to help us keep producing podcasts like this one, please head on over to patreon.com/E2C Network to join the E2C Network Booster Club. You can also get there by going to our website, e2cnetwork.com/support. Whether you decide to join or not, we are still so appreciative that you would support us by just listening and being here, because each and every one of you is part of our E2C Network family. Well, that's it. Timeout's over. Let's get back into the episode.
Moving on again to the hurdles, Morgan Milliken, she placed 8th in 69.78 seconds. Women's 800, we had Presley Miles placing 11th out of 15 competitors in 2 minutes 30.2 seconds, and Lindsay Grenier placing 12th in 2 minutes 44 seconds.
The distance keep getting longer here. The women's 1500 meter, Hallie Porterfield, finished 4th out of 8 with a time of 4 minutes 31.8 seconds. Now let's double it. 3,000 meters. Louisa McPherson, 7th out of 19 with a time of 10 minutes, 16.4 seconds, followed by Gigi Maddox right behind her, 9th place, 10 minutes, 20.5 seconds.
Now what? 5,000 meters.
I was going to say, don't double it again. We can't do that again.
No, but honestly, to these athletes, they'd be like, sure, why not? Sarah Pacer placed 2nd out of 12 competitors. She got that silver medal, and she ran it in 17 minutes, 28.2 seconds. Hannah Thuss getting bronze in 17 minutes, 44.2 seconds, and Hannah Tarwater placing 5th in 18 minutes, 8.5 seconds.
It would have been nice if we could have swept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this one.
We only had 3 competitors.
I know. I'm just saying,
it'd be challenging.
It would have been very challenging. I'm saying, put 2 more in there and let's win this thing on our home. Sweep the podium plus 2. That's pretty awesome.
Okay, I love that. Well, this way we swept the podium negatively, because you can think that our other 2 competitors got -1 and -2 place.
I just got really confused on what you're saying.
Well, if we had nobody compete in it, it's a negative place.
Oh, wow. I don't understand that at all, but I'm just going to trust you. Okay. Don't know where that was going, but all right.
Just letting you know. Women's hammer throw. We had Jocelyn Budwig placing 7th out of 22 competitors in 53.53 meters. Danielle Gregory placing 11th in 51.13 meters. And Mara Hewalt placing 13th with a throw of 48.99 meters.
Now, Jessica, this one hurts because I don't get to talk about my girl, Kylie Carter, anymore. She gone. She gone. It's sad. We still got some other great javelin throwers, but I have enjoyed talking about my girl Kylie for the last couple of seasons because I just knew I was going to be talking about a first or second place pretty much every time.
And also, let's be honest, you loved the name Kylie because it's basically the female version of Kyle.
I mean, come on. It's a good name. I know a good name when I see one. Kiara McCarroll will start us off with the women's javelin. 3rd out of 17 with a 51.13 meter throw, followed up by Ashley Carter, who we got to know really well last year, following up Kylie a lot. 4th in this event, 50 meters flat for her throw. 2 other competitors, Shania Holly, 5th out of that 17 competitor field, with a throw of 44.45 meters. And then Catherine Ratliff, 6th out of that field with a throw of 39.53 meters. We also had the high jump. Kamaya Dindy, 4th out of 11th, 1.71 meter jump for her.
For women's long jump, we had Janiyah Jones placing 2nd out of 17 competitors with a jump of 6.05 meters. Essence Thomas placing 3rd with a jump of 5.94 meters. Elise Heddens in 12th, 5.27 meters. And Megan Loneman placing 13th in 5.12 meters. Now for the women's pole vault, we had Rhiannon Held in 9th place out of 12 competitors with a vault of 3.71 meters. And just to confirm, Kyle, it is a vault. Because in the results, it was typed out, the vaulters.
They're still jumping.
No, because it would say the jumpers. Therefore, these are vaulters, and they vault.
It's the debate that's never going to end on this show.
Because
no
you're
what.
wrong.
No.
I need somebody to call into the show. We don't do call-ins. We text, email, tweet Kyle. I don't do the tweets, the Twitters, the things. But somebody let us know who is on track and field. It's a vault. It's not a jump.
It's both.
It's not.
It can be both. You
No,
can jump and vault at the same time.
You are just insufferable.
Because you jump when you put the pole in the ground to vault yourself over. Am I not right? I'm telling you, I'm right.
Kyle, so technically, are you saying a hurdler is a jumper?
Yes. They're
No.
jumping and running.
But they hurdle.
But that's jumping.
That's the act of hurdling.
But you're still jumping.
Ugh.
So you can be considered a jumper and a runner.
Lexi Lena Weber vaulted, placed 10th, and she vaulted 3.71 meters as well.
Lexi's like, shut up with the arguing and just tell them my stat. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. All right, let's throw some things now. We got the women's shot put. Mara Hewalt, 1st out of 15 competitors, 15.88 meters with the gold. Trinity Love in 11th place out of those 15, 11.09 meter throw for her. Now the women's discus. The Mara Hewalt again, 1st out of those 15 competitors, 52.76 meters. Jocelyn Budwig in 5th, 48.12 meters. And then Trinity Love, 15th, 38.41 meters.
All right, let's move on to the men. That feels like that was a lot of female competitors. I love this. We've had a lot of Auburn athletes.
It feels, and maybe this is just me as someone who's not as attuned to a track and field as the sport, as all the events. I feel like there's always more in outdoor track and field.
Yeah, most definitely. There's more events also.
Well, you're not as confined.
There's better events.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that are just wonderful about outdoor.
Sorry, indoor track and field athletes. Jessica keeps throwing you under the bus.
No, there's nothing wrong with indoor. Think of indoor as
Preseason?
the gateway.
Preseason?
No, because that really diminishes.
I was about to say, don't you call them preseason.
It's not a preseason because those athletes absolutely killed it. So moving on to the men's 100, we had Dante Brown placing 3rd out of 27 in 10.61 seconds. Brandon Smiley placing 5th, 10.67 seconds. And Jason Reese placing 6th in 10.84 seconds. For the men's 110 meter hurdles, this always baffles me that for women you get 100 meter hurdles, men you get 110 meters. So it's just funny, the discrepancy. Ogwendo Bernard placed 5th out of 14 competitors in 14.61 seconds. Trey Reynolds placed 7th in 14.89 seconds. David Edmondson placing 11th in 15.48 seconds, and John Murray placing 13th in 15.72 seconds.
And even though we talked about it already, we're going to say it again because it's so much fun. The men's 200-meter, Auburn sweeps the podium, first, second, third, but also we got a fourth competitor to talk about too. Let's talk about them again. Brandon Smiley in first, 20.78 seconds. Giovanni Murray second, 20.9 seconds for his run. I did it again. Dante Brown, third overall, 20.91 seconds. And then Jason Reese in 13th with 21.85 second run. I don't know that
you said it. There were 34 competitors.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot. So
about 3 heats to start off with. No,
babe, if it's an 8-lane track.
200-meter hurdle. Yeah, oh, that's right. They didn't need to do heats in this one.
Yeah. You do heats. 200 meters.
So how many heats would
so
that be?
you stay in your lane. Think about it. So how many heats would that be? This is a great math lesson,
I'm not
guys.
good at math on this one.
It'd be 5 heats.
Okay, there you go.
Because only 4 heats would be 32 competitors, and there were 34 competitors, so you had to have 5 heats.
She's making me feel real dumb now. All right, men's 400-meter, Christopher Grant, 9th out of 21 competitors. 49.88 seconds was his run.
Moving on to the men's 400-meter hurdles, we had Luke Roberts placing 4th out of 10 competitors in a time of 55.37 seconds, and Caden Seal placing 8th in 57.83 seconds. For the men's 800-meter, we had Cooper Atkins placing 3rd out of 33 athletes with 1 minute and 52-second finish.
Now, real quick, explain very briefly invite versus open, because this will come into play in these next 2 things.
Yeah, so for the 1500 meter, there was an invitational, meaning there were only 9 athletes that could compete, and you literally had to be invited. You had to have a specific time or placement to be asked to compete in the 1500 meter for the invitational. For the open, anybody could compete.
Is this a lot of times because it's such a popular event?
It is, and truly a lot of times what they'll do is you want to have really good competition and in a very specific heat, because heats typically are randomized.
Right.
And so if you are, and even for the 1500 meter, you might not necessarily have heats unless it's just an exorbitant amount of people, but you don't want to stack one heat because that's not fair to all of the competitors either. Right. So the heats are randomized. Right.
All right. Well, let's talk about the men's 1500 invite. Tommy McDonough leading the way with the gold, first out of 9 competitors with a time of 3 minutes 50.2 seconds. Ryan Kinane, 4th, 3 minutes 51.4 seconds. And then right behind him in 5th, Carson Beddix, 3 minutes 53.4 seconds. The men's 1500 open, Benson Atkins got to compete in that one, 8th out of 23 with a time of 4 minutes 3.5 seconds. The men's 5,000 meter. We're going to wrap up all the running stuff finally here. We had 2 competitors. Jackson Thomas, 2nd out of 18 with a time of 14 minutes, 42.9 seconds. Mark Foster in 5th, 15 minutes, 12.7 seconds.
For the men's discus, we've got Ethan Richter placing 9th out of 24 competitors with a throw of 48.02 meters. David Edmondson placing 13th in 44.79 meters. Quentin Wynn placing 16th, 44.42 meters, and John Murray placing 17th in 40.11 meters. For the men's hammer throw, we had Eric Ebel, like we talked about before, placing 1st out of 17 competitors with that PR of 68.74. Kyle Brown, 2nd place in a PR of 67.13. And Kyle Moyson with a PR for 3rd place in 64.88 meters.
It's just poetic that I get to talk about the javelin again. Men's javelin, Josh Wallace, 5th out of 12. 56.65 meter throw for him. Now let's talk about the jumping things. We won't argue about what's a jump and a vault at this point. Jumping. The men's high jump, Dontavious Hill, as we've already talked about, leading the way, just dominating again, heading into outdoor. 1st out of 15, 2.22 meter jump for him. Zach Marinko, 7th, 1.95 meters. And then right behind him, TJ Funtis in 11th with also a 1.95 meter jump as well. The long jump, David Edmondson, 5th out of 23, 7.02 meter jump for him. And then John Murray as well, 17th out of those 23 competitors, 6.26 meters.
So for the men's pole vault, we had James Corson placing 1st out of 11 competitors with a vault of 5.26 meters. And then Matthew Asplund placing 6th in 4.81 meters. The final men's event was men's shot put. We had Quentin Wynn placing 5th out of 17 competitors with a throw of 16.88 meters, and Ethan Richter placing 8th with a throw of 16.47 meters.
That was a lot.
That was a lot of people.
We had to wrap up indoor. We had to get things geared up and warmed up for the outdoor weather.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm excited for the rest of the season.
I'm really excited. So Auburn immediately goes back. So no breaks. March 23rd through the 26th, they will be in Austin, Texas for the Clyde Littlefield Relays.
Speaking of warm, I'm sure even in March it'll be warm out there.
Oh, Lord, Texas is so hot.
Jessica hates Texas for the
No,
heat
no,
alone.
no. I don't hate Texas.
You hate the
It's
Texas
just hot.
heat. The Texas heat is what I was meaning. You don't hate the people of Texas for the location.
Okay.
It's the heat and what it does to
And
you.
the random snow. No, that's Florida. I don't like.
Oh, that's... Where do you want to live? Just in a house somewhere where you don't ever have to leave?
You know, I could probably do Kentucky.
Again, I counter that you need to do indoor track because that is where you're inside. You
Maybe
get to run.
Arkansas. Maybe the climate there would be about preferable.
Well, there's not much in Arkansas. Sorry, Arkansas people.
So that is our random thoughts and also a little bit of track and field for y'all.
Hey, that's what the show is made up of.
Exactly. So we look forward to talking about the Clyde Littlefield Relays. War Eagle.
War Eagle. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode on the E2C Network. On your way out, I want to remind you to stop by e2cnetwork.com. It's your one-stop shop for all our content across our podcast, YouTube channel, and much more. To stay up to date with us, make sure you're following social media accounts such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. While our content here may always be Auburn sports heavy, if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. War Eagle.